Ghana has agreed to restructure $2.8 billion in debt to the IMF, deferring interest payments for 15 years. And on the surface, this seems like a kind gesture from the West, but in actuality, it may be a clever debt trap that could bankrupt the country. Let's talk about it. First, the backstory. Historically, Ghana was a country that avoided reliance on foreign debt. Then in the early 2000s, advisors from the World Bank convinced the government at the time that increasing debt would give the country the capital necessary to modernize. And while some development did happen, it came at the cost of increasing the foreign debt load over 800%. And high debt load naturally leads to high debt payments, which is why Ghana needed to petition for debt restructuring. So to balance the books in the short term, they got the IMF to agree to defer payments for 15 years. But here's where it may become a debt trap. The repayment needs to be made in Western currencies, not the cedi. So if the cedi falls relative to the US dollar or euro, it becomes nearly impossible to pay off. For example, if the cedi depreciates at the same rate it has since the early 2000s, it would be the equivalent of creating a debt load of $23.8 billion pre-interest and $34.51 billion at 3% simple interest. And at that point, servicing the debt would be around $2 billion per year in today's money on an original principal of $2.8 billion. Here's where it becomes a catch-22. If Ghana decides to protect the cedi by not printing money so that they don't have to pay back the debt in a weaker currency, they suddenly lose the ability to lean on their central bank to support the government, which would cause unpopular budget cuts in the future, which would be nearly impossible politically. Of course, the West knows this, and when Ghana eventually cannot make those payments in the future, they'll simply cut a deal for Ghana's natural resources, which is something we see happen throughout the continent. And that's where the West is so clever. They can solve a short-term problem for Ghana today, but in 15 years trade debt forgiveness for what the West truly needs, the natural resources necessary to maintain the West's economic position. But I want to know what you guys think. Is Ghana making the right move by restructuring their debt to solve their current account issues? Or is this a debt trap that could cripple the country in a few decades? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if this video provided value to you, give me a like and a follow. That really helps out my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.